Hey everyone, welcome to the Analytical Coding. In today's video, we are going to see logical functions in DAX. So, logical functions in DAX are super simple, but don't let that fool you. So, they are incredibly useful when adding smart, condition based logic to our Power BI reports. So, in this video, we will cover if-error, switch, and coalesce functions along with some logical operators like and, or, true, and false. So, all in one go. So before getting into the video, if you don't want to miss any video in our DAX series, please do subscribe to our channel. So getting into our video today, the first function we are going to see is if function. So the if function evaluates a condition and returns one value if it is true and another value if it is false. So here you can see the syntax of if function where the first argument, that is logical test, so this is the condition that results either true or false. So these are the value if true to be returned, and this is the value to be returned if value is false. So that is about this if function syntax. Let us see an example to understand this quickly. So let us say I want to check whether the sales are less or high based on the total sales value. So I have created a measure where I have given the condition like total sales less than 5,000. If this function returns true, that means if the total sales are less than 5,000, then return less sales. And if this is false, that is if the total sales are greater than 5,000, then return this high sales. Okay? And let us add this measure which we have created. And here you can see for each product ID, it is categorized into less sales or high sales based on the total sales value for this product. So in this way, we can use the if function. Now let me show you how can we write nested if conditions. So here I have created a measure where I have written nested if conditions. So here you can see if total sales is less than 5,000, return less sales. That is okay. And if this is false, we have to go to the third argument. And in this third argument, we have given another if condition where if total sales is greater than 5,000 and total sales is less than 8,000, return the average sales. Otherwise, return the high sales. And here in this condition, you can see we have used this AND function. So AND is also a logical function which takes two arguments. So if these two arguments return true, that is if the first argument is true and the second argument is true, then only this function returns true. So that is about the AND logical function. And similarly we have OR logical function which returns true if any of the two arguments returns true. Here we have used the AND function and we have returned the average sales and high sales. And let me add this measure as well into the table. We can use nested if conditions as well. And here we have used this AND function, and I have told you that we can only pass two arguments into the AND function. Now what if we have to use multiple conditions and perform AND functionality? So for that we are having the double ampersand operator, so which is also the logical and can be used to perform AND functionality for multiple conditions. And here you can see that. So I have created an order priority where in the logical condition I have given the three conditions, used the logical operator, that is double ampersand. So using this operator we can combine multiple conditions, right? So if these three conditions are true, then only this high priority will be written. Otherwise normal will be written. So I have added the order ID and added this order priority measure which we have created. And you can see this returns the normal and high priorities based on the quantity, sales and average sales discount which we have given in this condition. So in the similar way, we can use the double lines, that is parallel lines, to compare the three or more conditions and perform OR functionality. So these are the operators that we can use. Now let us see the other function we are having in the logical function, that is if error. The if error returns a specified value if the expression results in an error. Otherwise, it returns the result of the expression. So in this simple terms, if the first argument returns an error, then we have to return the second argument. Otherwise, we will be returning the value of this first argument. So here you can see that the value argument is any value or expression to test for errors. So value if error argument. So this is the any value that is to be returned if error is found. Right? So let us see an example. Here I have created a measure where I am calculating ratio of sum of sales price to that of sum of sales discount. So here I am having some rows with discount value as 0. Whenever I divide with discount, if that value is 0, this complete condition returns division by 0 error. Whenever this sales discount is 0, an error is returned, and this if function catches the error and returns this second argument, that is no discount. So let us add this as well. So whenever I have added this, you can see for order ID I am having the 0 discount value, and whenever there is 0 in the discount values, this function catches that error and returns no discount value. That is the second argument which we have passed in this measure. This is about the if error function. Now moving into the next function, that is switch. Switch evaluates an expression and matches it with a list of values, returning the result that corresponds to the first match. So here we can see the syntax of this switch. So the first argument is the expression, a value to compare, and the other arguments, that is value and result pairs. So these are the values to compare and the results to return. And in the last we are having the else. So this is an optional one and it returns if nothing is matched. So let us see an example to understand this quickly. I want to write some description for each category based on the user selection in this category slicer. So whenever a user select electronics, so some description regarding this electronics category should be written. So I have written a measure that uses the switch function, and here in the first argument it takes the expression, that is selected value of products category, and after that in which order we have given these value and result pairs, in the same order it executes. That is, suppose if a person selected electronics, so this function first checks in this value, is this value is electronics? No. And again it checks in this second value, yes it is correct, then it will return this result value. So in this way this switch condition works, right? So let us add this switch condition into this card and let us see how that works. So here you can see in this switch example which I have written, at last I have given this select category. Whenever a user not selected any category, then this else value is written, that is select category. So now when user selects accessories, you can see some description about these accessories, and whenever user select electronics, some description about the electronics in the similar way. So we can use this switch function to calculate the results for different values that expression returns. Okay, and now what we do not have exact match, but we have some range of values or comparison operators. So let me show you some example. Here I am calculating the total sales and total price. So whenever these two values are equal, then no discount for this order is written. And whenever we subtract this total price and total sales, and if it is greater than 100 and less than 5000, some value is written. Otherwise this else argument is written. So for this I cannot give any type of expression, right? So here we are using the comparison operators and some calculations, right? So in that case we can use this function, that is true. So we are having true and false logical functions in our DAX functions. So here this true function will always return true. That means switch, here the condition is true. That means whenever a value returns true, then return the result of that particular value. If this is true, then it returns the result 1. Okay. But if it is false, then it checks this second value argument. If this is true, then it returns this second result value. If no value argument returns true, then it returns the else argument which we have given. So this is the order how switch function execute if we given the true function in the expression. Okay. Now let us add this measure as well into this order ID table. Whenever the total sales is equals to total price, that is whenever we are not having any discount, we are getting the no discount for this order. You can see that. And otherwise, based on the condition which we have given, so this result is being executed. Here we are combining switch with logic based condition, and it is a great way to replace complex nested if conditions. So that is about the switch function. And moving into the last function, that is coalesce. So what is this coalesce function? So this function returns the first non-blank value from the given list of expressions. So here you can see this coalesce function takes number of expressions, and within these expressions, whichever expression that returns a non-blank value, then it returns that particular expression value. So let us see an example to understand this clearly. Okay. Before that, here I have created a measure, and where I am calculating the number of rows in the table which is written by the filter function, where it is filtering for the customer ID 1. Okay. So here the customer ID is C1, and whenever I add this into this, so here you can see that particular measure is returning the value 7, and whenever I select a particular category, it is returning the number of rows for a particular category for customer ID 1. And when I select furniture, you can see this function returns blank because there are no orders for customer 1 in the furniture category. So at that time it returns blank. But let us assume whenever we create a report and whenever we add some cards and they are displaying blank values, is it good to see that report? No, right? So here I want to replace this blank value with 0 value so that it will be clear for customer 1 and category furniture we are having no rows, right? So instead of blank, I want 0 to be displayed. So in this condition, I can use the coalesce function. In the coalesce function, I have used the measure which I have used in this card, and I have also given the second argument as 0. So this coalesce function will take these two arguments, and whenever this filter table is blank, it gives this 0 value because we have already told this coalesce function will return first non-blank value. So here this is blank and the next one is non-blank. So it returns the first non-blank value. So let us add this measure into this card, and here you can see this function returns 0. That means there are no rows for customer ID 1 and the category furniture. So in this way we can use the coalesce function, right? So these are all about the logical functions in DAX, and if you have any doubts, please do comment in the comment section. I will definitely reply to your doubts. And if you found this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe to the Analytical Coding. Thanks for watching.